Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Gunshots ring out in downtown Rockford, causing a 5-car crash. Police say a 26-year-old is dead. We have a live report from the scene.
Plus, after hosting races at the track for decades, 2023 will be the last season for the Rockford Speedway. Owners explain their decision to sell.
And a new cargo company will call RFD home. The number of jobs expected to come with it. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson.
One man is dead after a shooting and crash in Rockford this morning.
Police think the man was shot near Chestnut in Winnebago, then crashed about a mile away at Charles Street and First Avenue. That's where Nikel Delgado is live. Nikel, you talked to another driver who was in that crash.
That's right, Eric and Mimi. Rockford police say a 26-year-old died after the car crash. Another driver tells me he never thought that he would be in the middle of a crime scene.
I looked up, we saw a black SUV come kind of careening down the road. It ran into that building up there and then into the traffic lineup. It hit me in the back and the guy behind us got the full brunt of it.
Josh Butin and his pregnant wife were sitting at a red light on Charles Street and First Avenue when they were rear-ended Wednesday morning, resulting in a 5-car pileup.
There were bullet holes in the side of the vehicle, so what we're assuming is he was in a shootout trying to get away and lost control of the vehicle.
Josh made sure his wife was okay first, then checked on the other driver, telling me he looked to be in bad shape.
By the time me and another bystander got to him, he was beyond our help. He was in really bad shape. He was torn up.
Josh says he doesn't understand why this happened.
Like, nobody in this line of cars was doing anything. Everybody was just minding their own business.
Police have not said anything about the shooter. As soon as we learn more, we'll pass it on to you. Live in Rockford for your home team, I'm Nikel Delgado.
All right, Nikel, thanks for that live report.
The coroner releases the name of the man killed in a Rockford crash yesterday. That victim's 41-year-old Jonathan Sams. Tuesday morning, first responders were called to Samuelson and Falcon Roads for a car versus semi. Police say Sams was driving a Jeep west on Samuelson. The semi was headed north on Falcon. According to investigators, Sams blew a stop sign and ran into the semi's trailer. He died at the scene. Sams was the only one in the car. No word on whether the driver of the semi was hurt. The home of auto racing in the state line is shutting down.
The Rockford Speedway will be racing one final season this year. The owners, the Deary family, are selling the track and the land surrounding it. Scott Leber joins us with more. Scott?
Yeah, this is going to be the 76th season of racing at the Speedway, and there will not be a 77th. It is a sad day for local racing fans. There was speculation after Jody Deary passed away last summer that this might happen. Her 8 children say they can't keep it going. They are partnering with a development group, HJS Development, out of Buffalo Grove. The group will take over the land in chunks as the Dearys sell it off. I spoke to 4 of the Dearys today. They said they'd like to see this Speedway stick around forever, but they didn't really have a choice. All of them are retirement age, and none of their children or grandchildren have the desire or the ability to keep the track going. Plus, as the land around the Speedway has been developed, the value of the land and the property taxes have become very expensive. Now, you're going to hear in their own words what the Dearys have to say about the sale and what they have to say to their longtime fans and racers a little bit later in sports. Eric and Mimi?
All right, Scott, thanks. We'll see you then.
So what comes next for the Rockford Speedway? As Scott mentioned, the nearly 50-acre property will undergo commercial development. Jess
Lipson's been learning more about that. He is live at the Speedway. Jess, there is plenty of emotion surrounding this news.
Well, Eric and Mimi, emotions were all over the place. Excitement about what the future has in store for the redevelopment, but sadness to announce the end of this iconic landmark. Around 5 years ago, the Deary family began talking with the Shorewood development about selling the Speedway. Years later, that plan is in motion. Shorewood specializes in developing plazas ranging from grocery stores to retail stores. Even without a definitive plan, developers spoke about the importance of making this area important to the community.
This is a special track, and racing's a special thing around the nation. And, these tracks are closing all around the nation, and it's heartbreaking because, it's something that's disappearing in America. And, I sympathize that with a fan. So I emphasize that. And, it's important to us and the Deary family to memorialize history here and have that kind of centered around the ultimate development that takes place here.
Coming up at 9 and 10, we'll hear from the mayor about his expectations for the area. Live at the Rockford Speedway for your home team, I'm Jess Lipson. Back to you guys.
Jess, thanks for the live report. The Rockford Airport is expanding. Administrators announced a new cargo handling company coming to the Forest City. Menzies Aviation will start flying out of RFD in June. Menzies is an international aviation service provider. It has operations in nearly 60 countries. The company will occupy the newly built Building 3 of RFD's International Cargo Center. Menzies will focus on cargo and freighter handling services to chartered and scheduled flights. The Greater Rockford Airport Authority approved a lease agreement last month. That lease runs until 2033. RFD's Deputy Director of Operations calls the addition a win for the community.
It's a new service provider to just increase the capabilities of Rockford going forward. Having two providers on the field, two quality providers like Emory Air and Menzies allows us good opportunities when we're working with airlines, give them selection of who they're going to work with when they come in and out of Rockford, but also gives additional capacity, a different operator in a new warehouse space.
Menzies Aviation will create approximately 60 to 70 additional jobs. That includes cargo service agents, clerical operations agents, ramp agents, load masters, and managers. Hiring will begin later this year.
Teams from around the state are once again putting their sculpting skills to the test at Belvidere Park this week. It's the 37th year for the Illinois Snow Sculpting Competition. This year, 13 state teams are taking part. The winner will represent Illinois in the national competition. 13 high school teams are also working the snow. The designs range from children's building blocks to a Mario Brothers inspired sculpture. Judging is done by the competitors themselves.
For first, second, third places are awarded by the sculptors themselves. They judge each other, including the high school teams. The adult teams judge the high school teams for first, second, and third place. The high school teams vote on each other for what's called the Artists Award. And then the public does have an opportunity to vote as well for the People's Choice Award.
The competition runs until Saturday. With tax season in full swing, many people want to get them done and out of the way.
When we come back, the IRS encourages people in Illinois to hold off on filing taxes.
We've got winter weather advisories that have been issued north and west of here, where some accumulating snow comes down tomorrow morning. We'll look at how much could fall and how much rain other areas could pick up. That's all coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team with Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
The IRS has slowed down to people in nearly 20 states when it comes to filing taxes. That includes here in Illinois.
The affected states are those that offered a special tax refund or inflation relief payments last year. The IRS says it's uncertain about the taxability of the payments. It's recommending recipients wait for further instruction from the IRS before filing their 2022 returns. The National Diaper Bank Network reports 1 in 3 families experience diaper need. That means families can't afford enough diapers to keep their children healthy.
But 2 bills in the state capitol want to change that. The Senate's version gives families a $70 allowance every month per eligible child. The House's bill would provide $30. Based on the Senate's version, a family has to meet certain criteria to qualify for the money. The child must be 3 years old or younger and live in Illinois. Family can only use the money to buy diapers. Lawmakers say this effort will help families already dealing with financial hardships.
This is one step forward in the right direction for our state to ease some of these burdens off the families, but this is also a pathway to make sure that our families have what they need.
Families also have to meet certain income requirements to qualify. Their household income has to be at or below the federal poverty guidelines. The family or person applying for the help must be the child's legal guardian as well. Another day with clouds in the morning, sun coming out to end the day, but don't get too used to that.
When we come back, Candace shows us some of the areas that make it snow and other parts that are expecting rain. That's coming up next.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
At had some sunshine out there early on, but now our cloud cover continues to build back in. We stay dry, though, as we go through the rest of this evening. We take a live look with our SkyTrack camera here out of the Poplar Grove Airport. Cloudy skies with us through tonight. Temperatures will slowly drop back through those 30s. We made it into the low 40s earlier today. Actually felt pretty nice out there with the sunshine, but the clouds build back in, and eventually that leads to rain and snow for some by tomorrow morning. 39 our temperature in Freeport, Rockford, 36 currently in Rochelle, and you're 37 right now in Sterling. Not too much of a wind chill factor out there, but we are going to see some colder air kind of settle in here towards the end of the week. The clouds in response to this next storm system, this one's going to be a big one that impacts parts of the Midwest. There's been quite a bit of flooding rainfall that has taken place here across parts of Arkansas, some severe weather a little further to the south. But as that low lifts up through the plains into Arkansas, Missouri, and eventually west central Illinois, by the time we get into tomorrow morning, it pulls that moisture northward with it, so we get the rainfall that comes in. This rain looks to settle in after about 9 or 10 o'clock here this evening. On the colder side of this, snow, and for some could be some decent snowfall coming down, especially further north and west you go. We do have a winter weather advisory for Rock County and Greene County. This begins tomorrow morning in south central Wisconsin and Joe Davies County here across far northwest Illinois, again beginning tomorrow morning and lasting through tomorrow evening. So let's time this out because we've got quite a bit of mixed precipitation for some coming in here over the next 24 hours. Notice we are dry. As we go through the evening, temperatures will drop back through those low 60s. Initially along the leading edge of some of this precipitation, there may be a very brief window where we could get some sleet with that. So if you start to notice maybe some little pings on the window late tonight, that's likely what that will be, but a quick transition over to rain as we wrap in warm air around that low. That'll take us through tomorrow morning. This is just before sunrise, about 5-6 o'clock Thursday. Notice on the cold side of this, that freezing line is not that far away tomorrow morning. So north of that, you've got snow that begins to come down. Again, through the morning, most of this is going to come down as rain. So getting out the door for the commute, getting off to school, it is going to be kind of a heavier rainfall, and even areas to the southeast of us could actually hear a couple rumbles of thunder. But with that colder air kind of wrapping in and that freezing line falling just a little bit further east, that mix over and transition to some snowfall is very well possible. Now, I think our higher snow accumulations or the more impactfulness of this will be where the winter weather advisory is currently in effect for, and then we'll see kind of some snow showers and maybe a little bit of a mix continue into tomorrow afternoon. Second cold front comes in early Friday, but we dry out Friday night behind that, and temperatures will drop back through those low 20s and even in the teens Friday night. So the outlined area here stretching from Janesville just to the northwest of Freeport and then down through Carroll County, your range is fairly significant within that 2 to 6. Those higher snowfall amounts I think are going to be up north of Monroe and Janesville and then kind of back out towards Galena and Dubuque. Wouldn't be surprised though if areas west here of Rockford maybe pick up a slushy 2.5 inches of snowfall by tomorrow morning throughout the morning. 31 degrees then on Friday, 36 on Saturday. Weekend looks pretty nice. We'll see the numbers warm back up into the 40s by next week.
There was a nice streak of 40s at the second half of that 7-day. Thanks, Candace.
Scott's back with sports coming up.
We'll hear what the Deary family members are saying about turning the Rockford Speedway over to commercial developers, plus their message to local racers and fans.
Now sports with sports director Scott Leber.
The roar of race cars will be heard one last season at the Rockford Speedway. As you heard earlier in the newscast, the Deary family is turning the property over to developers after the upcoming season. It is the end of an era.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engine!
Racing has been going strong at the Rockford Speedway since May of 1948. In 1957, the Deary family arrived on the scene with Patriarch Hugh Deary taking a part-time job as an usher and ticket taker. In 1959, Hugh and his wife Jody bought an ownership share in the Speedway. In 1966, they took over full ownership. It was a family business run by the entire family that included 8 children. But now, 8 months after the passing of Jody, the family has decided to sell.
Just the neighborhood is squishing in on us, and it would be nice to continue. However, David and I are getting old, and there really isn't anybody, we don't have any kids that want to take over.
It just kind of all came together. There's nothing magic about it. It's just time.
There will be one final season of racing at the Speedway, a last lap season they're calling it. Then the nearly 50 acres of land will be transferred to HJS Development for commercial development. For decades, the Rockford Speedway was surrounded by farmland. Commercial development has boomed around the Speedway over the last 15 years, making the land at the track prime for more commercial growth. Did the family feel pressure from the community, from the politicians, from the developers to turn this land over?
Over the years, honestly, the last 20 years that's been happening.
Would your mother approve of this? Would she understand why this has to happen?
Absolutely. She was in the beginning of the conversations with Shorewood. She was involved in those. And
the biggest challenge that she had, and the Speedway still has, is to maintain this facility, and to pay the taxes is very, very expensive. The burden on just keeping the business running was just at the tipping point.
Some of the most famous NASCAR racers in history have raced or appeared at the Rockford Speedway over the years. Bobby Allison, Dale Earnhardt, Mark Martin, and even the King, Richard Petty. This news of the Speedway closing is painful for generations of drivers and fans who grew up at this track.
I certainly appreciate the commitments, especially the teams, the racers.
A lot of fans and drivers are heartbroken. What can you say to them?
I'm so sorry. That's the hard part. That's what breaks my heart.
Again, there will be one more season of racing at the track this year. It starts with the Spring Classic, the weekend of April 21st and 22nd. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Are dry for now. The First Warning Interactive Radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More will be a good tool to check out tomorrow morning before heading out, because not only will we have some rainfall, but there will also be some snow coming down for some tomorrow morning. We do have a winter weather advisory that goes into effect for Green and Rock County in southern Wisconsin, and then Joe Davies County here in northwest Illinois. Temperatures in the 30s tonight. You've got that rain snow mix, some accumulations to the north and west. May see some minor ones here in the Rockford region. Temperatures in the 30s and back into the 40s for the weekend.
All right, thanks, Candace.
And thank you for spending some time with us. Stay safe.